Hey guys, going to quickly go through this practice test. Hope it helps you a little bit. I'll fix it, of course, where you can skip around. So let's go. It says write an equation of the circle. The center -2, -5. Remember the opposite of the center goes inside your parentheses. Don't forget the square. Don't forget your addition sign. And to figure out what it equals, take the point over here because it says it contains the point. That means it works. So take the 2, plug it in for x. Put the 3 in for the y. 2 plus 2 is 4. Squared is 16. 3 plus 5 is 8. Squared is 64. Add the 16 and 64 and you get 80. And that's all you do. Number 2, you got to make it look like this. So what I'm going to do is put my x's together, put my y's together, and the 1 goes to the other side. And then complete the square. Take half of 2, square it. Half of 8, square it. And make sure you add that to both sides over here. And then over here you can just write your parentheses now. Remember the half goes inside, the half goes inside. Don't forget your plus sign. Over here add the numbers you have and you get 16, which means your center is 1, -4. Your radius is the square root of 16, which is 4. And this time the circle kind of went off the picture. And I'm going to tell you this, the one on your test tomorrow, the circle also goes off your picture. Number 3 and 4, parabolas. Graph what they give you. What they gave me on this one was they said that the focus was 0, -2, so I graphed it. Directrix is y equals 2, so I went through the 2 on the y. The vertex has to be halfway between the two, and it has to go down because the focus has to be inside. The directrix cannot be touched. So that means the 4p is with the y because it's going like the y-axis does. The square has to be on the other side, so it goes on the x. And all I gotta do is figure out p. P is how far from the vertex to the focus, or vertex to directrix, either one. It's 2 away, so I put a 2 in for p. 4 times 2 is 8. The reason it's negative is because it goes down. Number 4, same kind of problem. Graph them again. 5, -1 is right here, right there with the blue. X equals -3. You've got to cross the x-axis at -3 right there. And this one has to open to the right because the focus has to be inside and the directrix has to be outside. You need your vertex. The vertex is halfway between the two. Halfway between the two is that point right there, which is 1, -1. So I wrote that. The opposite goes in the parentheses, just like the circle center did. Because it goes to the right, the 4p goes with the x, like the x-axis does to the right. The square goes on the other side. And find p. P is how far from the vertex to the focus, or vertex to the directrix. It's 4 away. Put a 4 right there. 4 times 4 is 16. And that's all you got to do. 5 and 6, more parabolas. This time you got to make it look like a parabola equation and just graph the parabolas, all I'm asking you to do. So put your y's together in parentheses, which I did down here. The 2x and the 18 go to the other side. Now leave space to complete the square. Half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. Add it to both sides. The half goes into parentheses. That side's done. Over here, once you add the -18 and 16, you get -2. You need to make it. You need to have a parentheses over here so you know where your vertex is. So always factor out what number's in front of the x. Factor out the -2. That will leave you an x plus 1 here, which means the center is the opposite, which is -1, -4. And that has to go left because the -2 is with the x, and it's negative. 6 is the exact same kind of problem. Just got the x's are squared instead of the y's. So group your x's together. Move everything else to the other side. Take half of 4, square it, add it to both sides. This side, you can write your parentheses and you're completely done there. This side, no matter what's in front, you got to take it out. Take the 4 out, and 4 goes into 8 2 times. That's where that comes from. You need your vertex. The vertex is the opposite of what's inside, which is 2, 2. Graph 2, 2. Because 4p is with the y, it goes like the y-axis does. It goes up. 7 and 8 are calculator problems. On number 7, you got to get y by itself. So what I did is I switched places with the y and the 3. This one I moved the 6 over, then at -6. Then you plug both of those into your y1 and y2. Hit zoom 6 to graph it. Second calc 5. Enter, enter, enter. It gives you your first answer. And then if you trace close to the second answer and go second calc 5, enter, enter, enter again, you get that answer. 8's the exact same way. Get the y by itself. This one I'll switch places with the y and the 7. This one did the same thing, y and the 7. Graphed them. Second calc 5, enter, enter, enter. Found both answers. Number 9. The first thing you need to do in number 9 is look for the equation with no exponents, which is this one. I always get the y by itself, so move the 6x over, which I did there. Plug that into the other equation's y. Plug it into that y right here, and it looks like this. Anytime you have an x squared in an equation, you need to move everything over and try to factor. So I moved everything over, factored it with 3's because 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 plus 3 is 6. Your answer is whatever makes the parentheses 0. So what would make that parentheses 0? Negative 3 would. And to get the y, you take the negative 3 and plug it right back where we started. Plug it right there, and just punch it in your calculator. And you know, make sure you use parentheses when you punch in your negative 3, and you get 2. Negative 3, 2. 10, very similar, same kind of problem. I'm outside if you can't tell. Number 10, find the equation with no exponents. Move the 1 over. Did that. Always circle that one to remember where to plug stuff back in. Take the x plus 1, put it in for the other y. Put it right there, so I did that. When you have an x squared, everything has to be on that side. First thing I notice is the 1's just cancel because it's the same on both sides. That leaves this, so move the x over there. Make it minus x. They both have an x in common, so I'll factor that out, which gives me x and x minus 1. Which means whatever makes the parentheses 0 is an answer, which is 1. Whatever makes that 0 is an answer, which is 0. So those are my two answers. I'm going to take a second right here. If you will write the words RF underneath your name tomorrow, you can use 2 stars. Okay, so, but you got to write RF to get those 2 stars. And you won't know that unless you watch this video. And please don't tell anybody. And I say RF because that's what you need on these. That's what we did in class today. Not too worried about those. Go to your matrix, punch them in, do RF. Remember, your last column will be your answer in your calculator. Also, if you get all zeros on the bottom row, if it's all zeros, it's infinite solutions. If you have something like 0, 0, 0, and then like a 2 or a 1 or something, that's when it's no solution. If it has solutions, it will look like this. 1, 0, 0, it'll have a number. 0, 1, 0, it'll have a number. 0, 0, 1, it'll have a number. Like that one right there, the answer would be 2, 3, 4. I didn't bring my calculator home, so I can't work out 11 and 12. Wow, it's a bunch of work on this page. 13, 14, guys, you got to get to where you're completing the square. So on every test so far. Move the 7 over, it's negative 7. Take half the middle, negative 1, square it, positive 1, add to both sides. On the right-hand side, just add the numbers together. Left-hand side, set up your parentheses. The half goes inside, x minus 1. It's squared. That's why we completed the square. So I got to get rid of the square. So I'm going to take square to both sides. Got to take out an I over here. Don't forget your plus or minus. And it just takes the square away on this side. Move the 1 over. Becomes 1 plus or minus I on 6. Number 14. Same deal. Exact same steps. Move the 7 over. Take half the middle, which is 5. Square it. That's 25. Add this side. You get 18 over here. You can now write it in parentheses like we like. X plus 5 squared. You got to get rid of the square now. Square root, square root. Don't forget you can break down 18 like I did right here. 9 and 2. The square root of 9 is 3. I don't know the square root of 2, so it stays inside. Move the 5 over. It's negative 5 plus or minus 3 on 2. 15 is less than. First thing you got to do anytime you have absolute values is get it by itself. Move the 3 over first. It gives me 4. When you take the bars away, here comes an airplane. When you take the bars away, it's and. Just write it all together like this, but put a negative 4 on the other side. Add 2 to all 3 sides. That's your answer when you do that. If it's and, remember you shade in between. Number 16 is greater than, because it's an or. It's a greater than. Well, plain's loud. Divide both sides by 3. And you get this once it's by itself. Because it's greater, you have to write the word or. So write what you see. X minus 7 is greater than 3, or x minus 7 less than negative 3. Move the 7 over, move the 7 over. Remember, when you shade ors, it always goes opposite directions. 17, graph until domain and range. When you graph absolute value, it is a V shape. It has no shift in this one. The negative means it goes down. It reflects across the x. The 2 means you go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. There's your graph. Domain goes left and right forever. Range is going down forever up to 0 on the y. 18, a little bit tougher. 18 has a shift. You got to go right 3 and up 2. There's your vertex. Has a 1/2 in the front, which is your slope. You go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Draw your V. Got it good. Domain left and right forever every time on these. The range, remember, down to up. It starts at 2, goes up forever. There's your range. 19, find the inverse. Remember, inverse, you take the x and y and switch them. Then you get the y by itself. So this one, I put the x. I went ahead and switched the x and the y right here. Now I got to get the y by itself. So move the 7 first, right there. Then divide by the 3, and there it is. X minus 7 over 3. Don't forget your little f negative 1. Number 20, same exact steps. Switch your x and your y. Now get the y by itself. Move the 5 over. Divide by negative 4. There it is. Don't forget your little f negative 1. 21 to 24. Don't forget to use x's in big letters right there. Number 21 says, where's it increasing? I put in green where it's going up. Don't forget we're using x's. Because there's arrows, it's actually going left forever, until it's going down forever, or if it's going up. So down here it's going up forever until it gets to the negative 2. So it's increasing from negative infinity to negative 2. It's also increasing from here, which is 1, forever. So I put 1 to forever. Tomorrow on your test, it does not have arrows. It does stop. So you need to have numbers in there tomorrow. Then it says decreasing. Decreasing is what I did in the yellow right here. It's decreasing from here, which is negative 2, down to here, which is at 1. Use x's. Domain is how far left and right it's going. Because it has arrows, it's going left and right forever. And also remember, tomorrow it won't have arrows, so you need to put the numbers of where it stops and start going left to right. Range, because it has arrows going down, arrow going up, it's going up and down forever. Tomorrow it has points, it will not go up and down forever. You need to write down where it goes, where it starts and where it stops from down to up. Last one, 24, rate of change. Remember, x is going to the bottom, so I put negative 3 minus negative 2. You always subtract on the bottom. That gave me negative 1. The way I get the numbers on the top, I find negative 3 on my x. It's right there. The y coordinate is 0 right there, so I put a 0. I find negative 2. The graph is at 2, so I put a 2 right there, and you always subtract. 0 minus 2, boom. Negative 3 minus negative 2, boom. Divide, you get positive 2. All right, hope that helped. Hope you heard the secret word inside the video so you can get your 2 stars. And I'll see you in class tomorrow and we'll review some more. So I do good.